All right, keeping up with the burgers on Saturday theme, we're going to make a pimento cheeseburger. So we got some jarred pimentos here. We have a variety of cheeses, and we are going to turn these into a pimento cheese spread, which is just going to be put on top of a burger. Going to mix it all into this mixing bowl here. We also have a cream cheese. We're going to use some mayo. We're going to start by box grating this. Use the largest side of the box grater. We're going to grate 8 ounces of extra sharp cheddar. And then we're going to do about 2 to 3 ounces of Monterey Jack. That part is totally optional. You could use just cheddar. That's the consistency we're looking for there. Very nice grated cheese. You don't want them too big. You don't want them too small. The consistency is going to get a little different. We're going to mix this by hand. That will make it a little more into like a spread, but try to do as much as you can. The big pieces that break off here on the outside of the grater, just move those aside. Don't mix them in. They're too big. But we're going to throw this all into a bowl and then repeat the same steps for the Monterey Jack. That cheese is a little bit softer, so it's a little harder to grate. So just make sure you're putting more pressure on this one, and more is going to break off. So just note that. You don't need a lot of this one, though. This one's just for a little contrasting flavor. Once those are done, we're going to drain the pimentos. You don't need the juice that's inside of them, so just empty that all out of the jar. Try to mix, try to get as much of it out as possible. A little bit of the liquid left over isn't the worst, but you don't want a lot of it. Throw that right into your cheese. You could chop them up if you want finer pieces. That's also totally fine. And then we're going to do about 4 ounces of cream cheese. And we're going to then also add a 1/4 cup of mayo. You could buy any type of cream cheese you like. You can omit the cream cheese and just do mayo if that's your thing. Also, some people do that. There's a variety of ways. Look up other recipes on here. There's a ton of ways to make this pimento cheese spread. So do whatever you find will fit your palate. I'm going to mix it by hand, though. It's a lot easier at the beginning stage to help break up the cream cheese and everything and get a nice homogeneous mixture by hand. After we season this, we will then do it with a spoon, but at this stage, it's super messy, and it's just easier to do it by hand. It's just for me, so I took a little taste there. Don't do that if you're making for other people. That's the consistency you're looking for. Very good. Season it now with a little bit of salt. I don't like pepper in this, but you can add pepper if you want. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of garlic powder. I think also if you're looking for a little bit of heat, you could add some red pepper in here. You could add some maybe paprika, any other things you want to spice this up a little bit. Try them. It's not a very expensive thing to make. You're basically just buying cheese and peppers. So experiment. For the burgers, we're going to do the same thing as usual, 3-ounce patties, but I'm just going to put a slice of tomato also on this burger, and we're going to use potato buns, not brioche. We're also not going to toast the bun. I'm doing something a little different here. I think the toasting doesn't really need to happen for the pimento cheese. You can use the griddle again also, so get some oil on there, get that griddle nice and hot. Cooking the burgers the same way we always do. 3-ounce patties, round. Don't make the balls too tight. And then we're going to smash those down. These aren't going to be super, super thin, but they're going to be fairly thin. You can get a lot thinner than that if you want. And we're going to do a double just because I'm hungry, but this burger you can do. I think proportionally, a single is maybe a little better in retrospect, but I'm going to do a double. Flip those over when they're ready. Just salt the other side. Also, very simple burger prep here. I've done this on this channel a good amount of times, so I'm not going to take you too much into the burger cooking, but as always, this is 80-20 ground beef, just because that's what the supermarkets have. But if you can get 75-25, do that. Now let's assemble this guy. We're going to throw that pimento cheese on the top. Since it has mayo and cream cheese in it, I'm not going to add any extra, but you can add other condiments if you want on here. It does look like egg salad. I know that it's visually not the most appealing burger in the world, but trust me, it tastes really good. We're going to put the tomato on the bottom. This tomato, while it was waiting, was also salted. Always salt your tomatoes. It just brings them to the next level. And then we're going to throw on the meat. Nothing in between the 2 slices, so it's a very meaty burger. That's why I think in retrospect the single was better. But now, just top this with the bun. Nothing's going to fall off because it's very, homogeneous. And then we're going to cut this and take a look at that cross section. But also the ambient heat of the burger is going to melt a little bit of the cheese while it sits on there, which really gives it a nice consistency. It is a somewhat messy burger. It will fall apart as you eat it just because of the meltiness of the cheese and the maybe don't put the tomato on the bottom also because that helped with a little bit of meat sliding. But this is just a really good burger. If you're looking for a nice peppery pimento cheese and you like burgers, this is the combination for you. I still think the Wellington burger last week was the best burger I've made this year, but this is a really tasty burger, and that pimento cheese spread, we can maybe even do a grilled cheese with it at some point in the next week or two. Really, really nice.